Morning, everybody. So, starting with, we're just going to have our ball and the cushion. And we're going to start with neck rolls. So, if you grab your ball and then pop that underneath your head, and then move the cushion just to one side. So, lie yourself back of the head only on the ball, and then just make sure that the rest of you is nice and relaxed, especially those shoulders and the head and neck. And you're just going to turn the head side to side to start with, so nice and slowly over to the side and back into center. Look across the ceiling as you do it. Nice long stretch. If you're particularly tight, it might also run down the shoulders. Let's go for 2 more each way. And then 1 more each way. And then back in the middle, and let's chin tuck. So nod the chin to your chest, and then let go and look again. And nod your chest, nod your chin to your chest, I should say. Look up again to the ceiling. Just nice and gently. You're not pushing really hard into that position. It's nice and gentle, and you're hopefully getting a nice stretch around the back of your neck and maybe through the spine slightly if you're really tight. Let's go for 3 more. And last one. And then back in the middle, I'm going to circle the nose. So teeny tiny circles first, 5 each way. Just go back the other direction. And last one. And then back into the middle. And then we're going to come up and sit. So I've had many requests actually this week, but please send me in requests for exercises that you'd like to do, or any wishes that you want to work on. So if you're finding that you're going for lots of walks recently and you're finding that your ankles are maybe a bit weak, or your knees are, or you're really starting to feel the hips stiffening up, and then a lot of you have been gardening, so I've had a couple of people asking about their lower backs and stuff. The lower back stuff is purely just the whole of this class is always just trying to strengthen that lower back and obviously keep those tummy muscles protecting the back, and then these ones getting strong enough to help the tummy do their job as well. So send me in any that you want. That'd be really, really helpful so I can plan my lessons, and it's not just, it's catered for to you. So one thing that has been requested, and it's been a couple of times, is the mermaid. So it's a big stretch, and it's going to feel probably really tight because of not being as mobile around stretching and everything like that. And if you're walking especially, it actually might be quite tight. So the mermaid stretch, you can do variations because everyone's got different flexibility. So what I want you to do is to bring your right leg into the front, and then you're going to take your left leg just behind you. So if that's uncomfortable, I made that look probably really simple. If that's uncomfortable, you can take that one wider, or you can leave that one where it is and you can just have that one resting in the front. We're working the leg that's behind you mainly. So wanting to sit as tall as you possibly can. So usually in this one, everyone is going to lean over to the leg that's bent into the front. It's natural. The gravity is going to do that because of how tight this hip is. Try now to think about putting the weight onto this side of the bottom also. It's obviously hugely on this side, but pop the weight onto this side. Put your hand on your hip, just in front of those hip flexors. And what we're going to do is we're going to lift up your right arm. So you've got your right leg in front, so your right arm's going to come up, and you're going to lean over and stretch out. And you'll get a good almighty stretch down that sort of ribs, armpit. And then you'll find that the front here is a big, big stretch, almost right across the knee. And then you're going to come up, but make sure you come up to just being stacked. You're not going to go back to leaning over. Pop the hand in front on this side of the leg. And we're going to do the same on the other side, but this side is going to try and sort of rise. So you're going to do just a small reach to the side. So not lifting that bottom up, if the opposite, sort of push down and just hold that there. So it's a different stretch, this one, it's a slow stretch. And then you're going to come back, and we're going to do that once more again on each side. So hand goes down, lift your arm up. Arms always just slightly in front of your body, remember, and you're just going to reach over as far as you want to go. It's up to you how flexible you are. So I'm getting a big stretch around the upper back and around the backs of my shoulders. And then again, coming up, but just to being nice and straight, and then pop the hand in the middle again. Arm up, this time again in front, and just don't let that bottom rise off the mat at all. Just stay nice and still. And then come back up to sitting tall again. So we're going to switch the legs. So bring that right leg around the back and bring the left one in the front. And then we're going to make sure again that we've got that feeling of being quite centered. You've got your bottom heavy here. This one's also nice and heavy. So this side already I can feel is extremely tight on this hip flexor here. So hand there, and then obviously that left leg's in front, so the left arm comes up. And again, just keep your arms slightly in front of your body, and however far you're comfortable going to. Again, remember, move your leg forwards or backwards if it's too tight for you. Reach. And then stack up again, nice and long and tall. Pop this hand in front. Let's lift the other arm up. And this time, this bottom on the opposite side doesn't move, so it's not as an exaggerated lean over. Just keep nice and long in. Both those hips are just stuck to the floor. And then stack up again. We're going to do the same on the other side again. So lift the arm up, arm slightly in front of the body. Reach over. And then back again. Let's do the same on the other side. So lift the arm up, but don't let that bottom pick up off the mat. It's just smaller stretch. It may even look, I mean, I feel like I'm horizontal. I probably am. But if you are horizontal, that's fine. You can always put your hand just there for that sort of safety net, because I know a lot of you need it there because of the balance. So please do put your hand there if you can't keep it in front of your hip. And then come back up and stack nice and tall. And what we're going to do is we're going to then, because that's quite an extreme stretch, we need to just make sure that the inside of our thighs are okay. So we're just going to bring the feet together, and we're going to just make sure to start with it. They're quite close towards us. Feet are nice and stuck together. The aim of this one is to sit tall. So you're going to want to instantly just round your lower back and probably your shoulders. So sitting tall, hold on to your ankles. It will help you pull that chest forwards, and think of just shining that chest proudly up to the ceiling. Keep your feet together, and then however low the knees naturally fall is what you're aiming for. Don't worry if they don't, it doesn't matter. But sit tall, chest is still proud. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just move the legs further forwards. So you've got a little sort of a relaxed here in the shape of the V. You've got your feet still together. Your hands are still going to go onto your ankles. What we're going to do is we're going to roll down towards those feet. And it's going to hopefully trigger around the lower back, but again, still mostly in your inside thighs. And you're going to roll down as far as you're comfortable going to. Everyone's different. And then lovely and slowly just roll up nice and gently, mainly because of obviously that head rush, and then sitting nice and tall. So the legs should feel just nice and relaxed now. What we're going to do is we're just going to bring the ball in front of us. I want you just to come onto your knees. You need a cushion. Pop your cushion underneath your knees, and it's just a low kneeling position. what we're going to do is we're just going to stretch out the shoulders. We did this at the end of last week, and I had lots of people saying that they really enjoyed the sort of like overreach because it really helped them move further into their stretch. So what you're going to do is you're just going to lean forwards, and you're just going to pop the back of your hand on your ball, and you're just going to pop your hand, if you want to, you need it for support, then obviously you put it just here. And we're going to just let the ball run away with us. It's going to roll up the elbow, and your head and body gets closer to the mat. And then you're going to roll it back up, and you're going to come and sit tall again, and you're going to put your back of the hand on the mat, on the ball. And again, your body's going to lower because your arm is going to roll away. Mine's even gone all the way up to my bicep, but I've got tightest shoulders at the moment, but I know I'm quite flexible in the hips. And then rolling back up again. So again, pop the hand on top, and then you're going to push the ball away, lower the hips. Again, you can use your hand if you need the support. And then bring it back, sit nice and tall, again, back of the hand. And then you're going to roll. And then back you come. And then one more each way, so back of the hand. And let it roll up the arm. Your head and body go towards the floor. And up. And then once more, so back of the hand. And round, I should say, away. And then coming back up. So you should feel like your shoulders are just nice and secure now. They're nice and relaxed. And then we're going to pop the cushion underneath the head. What we're going to do is we're going to go into some curl ups. So if you've got your ball, so this is really for if anyone's especially anxious or has general sort of asthma or anything like that, naturally your rib cage is quite tight and you've got little muscles in between, so they're going to feel even more so tight. So this one is to really stretch those out, probably make you feel a bit sort of like you've had a deep breath. It's sort of all the air's just come out. So we're going to do some curl ups. We're going to use the ball behind our back. So it will feel uncomfortable for the first few if you have asthma or you're feeling a bit anxious, or naturally you probably realise you maybe breathe from here to here. So give it a go, take it out if it's sort of just unbearable. If it's unbearable, then we need to sort of make it a bit smaller. If it's unbearable, then don't use it at all. But you can always deflate the ball and just take as much air as you want out, or you could alternatively fold a cushion in half and put that underneath instead. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to do some pulses, some side to side and some curl up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where you ideally need it. So around here you can see my wings where my shoulder blades are. If I do that, and I want you to put it in the middle. So once you're on the floor, it's almost like, my TV's there, but you could just sit and watch the television. It's not going to make you feel like you're sort of halfway down here, or it's too high and your lower back's hurting. Your lower back shouldn't hurt in the slightest. If it is, it's too low. I'm just going to move myself into the centre of my mat. So once you've done that, you're going to just make sure that you've got your heavy point. So at the moment I'm slightly tipping my hips because of where the ball is. So I need to just check that I've got my lower back gap. So I'm just going to recheck that. So I've got my lower back gap now because I've put my hips in the right position. I'm going to check my feet, make sure they're hip distance apart. I'm going to link my fingers behind my head, and this is where the muscles in the front of your rib cage are going to show if they're a bit tight or not. So for me, I love this because I'm finding that I'm overly hunching my back because of holding Seb. So this feels incredibly nice. It's almost a massage for me. So I'm the opposite direction. I love doing this one a lot, and I try and do it as much as possible. So I also feel it across my neck and across my biceps and my chest as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some curl ups from here. They're controlled and they're slow. So you can take a deep breath in, and you're going to breathe out, and you're going to curl up over the ball. You're going to tuck your chin first, and it's nice and controlled and slow. You're not going to change that lower back gap in your hips and lower back at all. We're going to reach both the hands to the same side of your thigh, and you're going to pulse towards the knee 3 times. You're going to go 1, moving the top of the body, 2, 3.
You put your hands behind your head again, and you slowly unfold, and then your head comes back. So try not to rush and put your head on the floor before you've unrolled your back over the ball. So we're going to go to the other side. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, nice and slowly. Remember, this part of you here does not change. And you're going to then reach to the other side of your thigh. And we're going to pulse 3 times. Remember, you're not moving your hips or your lower back. So you're going to reach from the tips of the fingers 3 times towards the tip of the knees. Keep your big toes nice and stuck to the floor. Hands go back. And then over the ball you go. And then your head's back on the mat again. So we're going to go again. If we can do, let's do 3 more if we can on each side. So we'll go up again. Up and over the ball, don't change your hips. You're going to reach to the sides of the thigh. And we're going to pulse 1, 2, 3. The hands back. Take it slow, over you go. And again, let's go to the other side, deep breath. Breathing out. Reach to the thigh. Both the hands, and again, let's go. 1, 2, 3. The hands go back. And down slowly. And again, other side, deep breath, curl forward as you breathe out. Keep your hips still, reaching to the thighs. As you reach, both hands together. 1, 2, 3. The hands go back. Your head goes nice and slowly. It's the last thing to hit the floor. Again, let's go to the other side again. Then we've got 1 left on each side. So again, coming up, don't change the position of your hips at all. And we're going to pulse 1, 2, 3. Hands go back and down over the ball nice and slowly. And once more each side. So curl forwards, deep breath as you breathe out. That's your time to curl forwards. Remember, this is still lower back gap. You haven't flattened it. And 1, 2, don't flatten it in the pulses either. 3, hands back. Over you go. And finally, this is the last one. So take a deep breath. Breathe out. Reach to the front. And then again to the side. Pulse 1, 2, 3. Hands back. And over you go. That is a killer. Just roll onto your side and just take that out from underneath. And then just pop it back and then take a quick stretch. Legs long, arms above the head. Pull and lengthen the body apart. And then just pop your feet back on the floor. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little exercise. I think we might have already done it maybe in the last month or so. Or correct me, I may have not talked to you yet. So feet hip distance apart, heavy points again, remember, so you want your hips, that natural curve in your lower back, ribs, chest, head. And then what we're going to make sure is the feet hip distance apart. So we're going to start with just the head and neck are doing nothing, arms are down, and we're going to pick up the knees into a tabletop position. From here, we're going to put the hands behind the head, and we're going to add in, because we're going to make sure that we can, actually we'll do it without arms and head first. So because of lower back, I'm going to put my hands underneath my lower back, just that little lift. It just helps kind of make sure that you're not overdoing it. So everyone's different. Everyone's going to be able to go quite low or not so low. It's up to you. So the knees are up, like I was saying. What we're going to do is we're going to lengthen these legs and just slightly take them away from the body. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take the sort of left leg a little lower than the right leg, and then we're just going to do pointing toes, and we're just going to quickly switch, nice and quick, but in the air, and we're just going to count to 10. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and bend the knees. Pop your feet down, take your hands out, just let your tummy have a quick break. Feet back to hip distance apart. This time we're going to pop our hands behind our head. We're going to curl up, bring the knees up I should say first. We're going to curl up. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to lengthen those legs. And we're going to take one away. We're going to go 1, 2, point your toes, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And rest your head back down. And then just make sure that you relax. Just let your tummy come back to its normal state. Keep breathing. And we're going to pop the ball out underneath. It's going to go in between your bottom and your lower back. And then making sure it's comfortable. It's not too far on one side for obvious reasons. And then feet go hip distance apart. And we're going to repeat that all again. And obviously this time the ball makes it just a slight trickier position because obviously it's not going to be as stable. So head down to start with. We're going to pick up one leg and the other leg. You'll notice straight away because your bum's lifted, your legs go further up to the ceiling. So you're going to take one leg away. We're going to point those toes. Now, still ball. It's going to make you jiggle around everywhere. Don't let that happen. So hold onto the ball if you need to. Stay nice and steady. Tummy switch it on very much. And again, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bend those knees, pop your feet back. And again, repeating it so the hands now go under the head. Knees come up. Your head's going to come up. And the legs are going to come. And again, let's point those toes. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Relax. And then bring the feet back down again. Perfect. Right, so now we've done that, we're going to keep the legs going and we're going to bring the legs up again. And then we're going to bring the hands just to kind of just by the side. And we're going to do some cycling legs. So we kind of like similar last week where we did one at a time and we did that up, lower, down sort of thing. We're going to do both at the same time. So we're going to take the legs away, lower, up, bring back. So just preparing the body first. So you're going to lift the legs up, lower, back, and bend. So this, remember, you're thinking of your points of contact, your rib cage and your chest and your shoulders. They're not moving at all. You can rest your hands on your ribs if you need to. So again, lengthen up, lower both your legs, lift up and back again. So don't think about engaging your back muscles for this one. It's all about the front tummy muscles and those leg muscles. So lengthen up, lower, lift and back and lengthen, lower, up and back. That's too difficult. You do one at a time. So you just go up and lower and up and back. So make sure you make it your comfortable position. Don't always copy me. You can skip the exercise if it's also not working for you. So we're going to do the full exercise now. So you're going to lift your legs up. You're going to lower, bend and back. Up, lower, bend and up. If you want to be fancy, you can sort of tip, sort of top, you sort of drag your toe along the floor if you want to. So you go up and lower as you bend your knees, touch the floor, up, lengthen, lower, bend, up. Depends on how far your legs can go also. Lengthen, lower, bend, up. Again, rib cage and chest still. Lower, bend, and up. Let's go 3. Lengthen. You don't have to point your toes if you don't want to. I'm just doing it because of I've got a little bit of tightness in my feet at the moment, so it's a nice stretch for the top of your foot. Good, really still on the blue ball. Let's go again, last time. And then back, and then pop the feet back on the floor, and then just take a little stretch. So what have I got in my book for next? So what we're going to do next is, in case we did that one. Super, okay, we're going to do some knee circles, so getting right into these hips. We did that mermaid stretch at the beginning, so we're just going to make sure, we did a couple last week or week before, we did both legs. We're going to go back to one at a time, but we're going to go slightly bigger, so feet hip distance apart, and then making sure that that foot feels really grounded. Hands are by your side for support, and you're going to bring one leg up. So concentrating on the shape of the circle. So you're going to bring your leg towards the body first. Without moving on top of this ball, you're going to take it out to the side, around towards the door, my door, around towards the other leg, and then back. So we're going to do 5. So this is number 2. Stay as still as you can on your ball. I'm going to hold on to mine. Nice and slow. That big toe, this big toe on the floor, I don't know if you can see it, but it's really pushing itself into that floor so it doesn't budge at all. Let's go 2 more times with this leg, and then we'll switch and do the reverse and then do the next leg. Big, big muscle moving around. And then we're going to go back and we're going to go the other way. Avoid this. This is my bugbear. That is cheating. You're always up in this 90 degrees. So other side, other way. I should say, sorry, other direction. Control movement the entire time. Let's go once more this way. And then pop the foot back. Recheck your feet for definite. Make sure they're back. And then the other leg is up. And we're going to do the same. So big toe on this side, keeping still, towards you and out. Around. Remember, don't have a floppy leg. It's strong, it's in control. And that's 2. And this is starting of number 3. Just have a quick peek at your knees. I watched my knee sneak out then in that direction. So just keeping that knee nice and central the whole time if you can. Make this the last one this direction. And then we're going to go back. So let's go the other direction now. Let's do 2 more. And finishing up. And then bring the foot back onto the floor, and then just bring that out from underneath. Perfect. Okay, what we're going to do is the 100. Okay, so we're going to do the 100 next. So we're going to do a little couple of variations. So everyone is capable of doing either the really easy one, or some people like to challenge themselves. So it's up to you which one you want to do. All of them have your head off the floor. So your head is about here, and I want you to make sure that you can make it easy for yourself. So you can either put your hand behind your head if you need to, just one of them. If you can keep the other one down, that'd be amazing. otherwise without. So you've got your head up and you've got the option of 3 legs. So you've got the feet down, you've got the feet up, and then you've got the legs up. Okay, so I'm going to do all 3 of them. You can copy me and do all 3 of them. And I'm also going to do some up and down with it at the same time if you want to join in with that as well. So I'm going to take a deep breath in, feet hip distance apart. And it's a breathing exercise, okay? So we're going to take a deep breath in and we're going to be breathing in for a count of 4. And we're going to be breathing all that air out for a count of 4. So starting with the feet on the floor if you want to, or starting with your legs up in tabletop if you'd rather go in at that stage. So deep breath out as you come up, your arms are going to start levitating by your side. You're going to start beating the arms. Let's breathe in. 2, 3, 4, breathe out. 2, 3, 4, in. 2, 3, 4, out. 2, 3, 4, in. 2, 3, 4, counting on your own and counting in for 4 and out for 4. I'm going to demonstrate the legs if you wanted to do those. If you can see me, you're going to straighten your legs and you're going to keep on beating those arms. Breathing in and out. If you want to, you're going to lower the legs, still beating those arms. And you're going to bring them up and bend it back. And again, you're going to lengthen up and you're going to lower down. And you're going to come back up and bend. We're going to do one more, still beating those arms, lengthen and lower. And back and bend. And then finally rest the arms, rest the head, finish the breath you were on. Foot down if you had them up. And you're just going to let one side of you just roll over and then you're going to look in the opposite direction. And then let's do the same on the other side. So let's look in the other direction and then let the legs drop to the other side. And then you're going to come back into the middle and we're going to come and sit. So coming up to sit when you're ready, we're going to do some roll backs. So we had done these a couple of weeks ago. We're going to try them again. Hopefully we're getting a bit stronger each week. So as we're not having a break or anything in between any of these. So roll backs, we're going to pop our feet onto the floor. For me, I can't quite get my feet on the floor without this horrible pinching sensation here. So if you have that too, pop just your heels on the floor. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put the hands just behind the backs of our thighs for this exercise. So we're going to do a nice slow half C curve. And then we're going to go all the way down to the floor. So sitting nice and tall to begin with. You're just going to sort of roll your bottom underneath you, rounding the spine and then finishing with your shoulders. And your shoulders should be over the top of your hips. And you're going to lean it back a little bit. And your hands will just travel behind your thighs as you do it. You'll stop there. You'll come back, staying in your C shape. And then you'll come up and sit nice and tall again. So we're going to try and do 6 of these. So deep breath as you breathe out. Bottom rolls underneath, shoulders over hips, nice C curve. My stomach is pulled in to get the C curve in the front. And you're going to let your hands travel behind you as you do a slight roll back. And then you're going to come back in your C shape. You're still in that C curve. And then your head and shoulders and spine along. And again, let the hips roll underneath you, shoulders over your hips, nice C curve. Keep the C curve as you roll it back. Your hands glide behind your thighs. Come back in the C shape, so you're not straightening yourself up. Running the hands along the back of the legs help you keep that C shape. Sit nice and tall. Let's do 3 more. So again, tuck the bottom, spine over and shoulders over hips. Let's roll back. Hands are gliding and they're going to come back again, keeping yourself in your C shape. Sit tall. 2 left. So again, tuck the bottom underneath you, shoulders over hips, rolling back, hands sliding back, and then coming back again, hands, and then you come out. Last one, C shape. Tummy on, relax these muscles in the front of your thighs, and coming back and sitting tall. Good, just relax just for a moment. So what we're going to do next is the full roll back. If you don't want to roll all the way, you're going to put your ball around the position we had it when we did our curl ups actually. So you sort of bump into it and then you come back up again. So I'm not going to use it. Please put it there if you do need it. So bringing those knees up again. And then you've got your heels. If it's too pinchy, just let your legs relax. If you're able to do that and sit tall, I can't quite do it. You can see I'm sort of hunching a bit forwards. I need to have a bend in my knees to help me with it. So hands are still behind the backs of the legs. Now the challenge is people literally pick their legs up as they go down in this one. So don't do that, obviously. So we're going to roll all the way down. We are going to try and roll up. If you want to, and I always say it in class, if you have your sofa right now, go and tuck your feet under the sofa for this one, and it's going to help you get that momentum to come back up again, okay? So go and find the sofa if you need to, and just go and scoot your feet underneath so that you don't do it, and you just have flexed feet so that you don't obviously come out and your legs are straight. So we're going to put the hands behind the legs. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into that C curve to start with, shoulders over hips. And your aim is to keep the C curve for as long as possible. So we're going to start with the one we just did. And this is where you would usually come back up, but we're going to go all the way. So we're going to keep on going past that lower back, all the way to the floor, to move my cushion, up and over with those arms. And then taking a nice deep breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to lift your head up and you're going to swing forwards and you're back to your start, and you're going to put your hands behind your thighs again. So let's go. Tuck the tail underneath you, shoulders over hips, rolling back. So your C curve is kept for as long as you can. Just don't pull your thighs off the floor, lower back on the mat. Everything then follows. And then the arms come above, and then deep breath. If you have your feet under the sofa, keep them nice and still, and you're moving with your arms, swooping up. Let's go again, hands behind the back of the thighs. So tuck the bottom underneath, shoulders over hips. Rolling back. Remember, don't let your hands pull your thighs off the floor. Your feet are nice and heavy. And all the way up and above with your arms. Deep breath as you come up, reaching forwards to sit tall. We've got one last to go, so hands back behind the thighs, into your C curve, shoulders over hips. Keep your C curve, keep your C curve for as long as you can, all the way back up and over with the head and arms. Deep breath. And make it your best one yet. So let's go. And up. That's it all. Perfect. Okay, so from here, last kind of exercise in a way, I suppose. If I'm right, I can't even remember what time I started, so who knows? It's been over half an hour, I know that. But so what we're going to do next is a exaggerated lunge that we have previously done, but we haven't gone probably as wide with our feet and our knees. So again, people keep saying, oh, my hips are so tight and we don't know what to do and all this sort of stuff. So the stretch that we've done before, where we lift our arms up in the air, that is obviously one thing that you can do. So if you find balance maybe a little bit tricky, you can always go and find a table if you're nearby a table. But to start with, what we're going to do is we're going to come up onto our knees. So you've got your knee, one knee just a little bit further behind, and then you're going to step forwards as far forwards as you can. So usually we'd be sort of here, but you're going to take your foot as far forward as you are comfortable. And we're just going to bring it so that our body leans forwards. We're just going to touch the floor with our fingertips. And then we're just going to completely lean into that and just hold the stretch. So it's a really big stretch for this behind thigh in the front. I'm just going to put my knuckles on the floor if that's more comfortable. And then as you come out of it, I want you to come into a C curve. So I want you to round your spine, and the back now of this leg in the front is going to get a stretch. So you can see I'm in that C shape. My spine is obviously up in the air. And then we're going to come back into that stretch. So you're going to come back, well, you're going to go forwards, and then you're going to come and just lengthen the back of that leg out. And then we're going to go back into the opposite, and you're going to stretch it out into your C curve. Lift your tummy up. And then you're going to come forwards one more time, and we're going to switch the leg. So lunge forwards. And then again into your C curve. And then starting to take that leg. And then you're going to come back up where you were. Switch over. So bring your knee wherever you want it to go. And then you're just going to take your other leg as far forward as you desire. And then we're going to lean forward. So fingertips or knuckles wherever you can on the floor. And we're going to lunge forwards into that stretch. And we're going to come back into the C curve. And we're going to straighten this leg if you can. And then coming back forwards into that front position. And then back we go into that C curve. And then back. Last time, coming forwards. And then back into the C curve and the leg. And then coming back, and then just bring your leg back where it was. So we're going to go back to that position, but we're going to try and keep the body upright. So I've been practicing this, so we shall see how it goes. But go back where you were. And what we're going to do is we're going to lunge forwards. You may need to make sure you've got your mat. So you're going to use your toe in a moment. So what we're going to do, we're going to lunge forwards, and we're going to just rest the hands here. My back foot, if you look at it, I'm just going to tuck my toe underneath, and this front foot is also nice and strong. And we're just going to levitate, and we're just going to go up. And we're going to push down so the back of that leg gets a nice big stretch. And then we're going to rest the knee down, okay? So if you need to hold on to anything, do. If you need to hold on to the side, maybe you can hold on to something either side of you. So again, you're going to lean and lunge forwards. And then when you're ready, that little toe behind you, or the toes, is going to straighten you up. Staying low, remember? You're not standing up. And then bring the knee back. And then relax. We've got one more, and then we'll do the other leg. So again, lunging forwards. When you're ready, leg. Hands are just on top of this knee if you need to. And then back. Let's do the other leg. So, when you're ready, stepping forwards, hands on the top of the knee. We're going to lunge. Oh, my foot's not on the mat. So, when you're ready, you're going to lunge forwards, toes tucked, and up you go. So this side's much harder for me. And relax. Two more. Lunge forwards, tuck your toe underneath you, and up you go. Straight leg if possible, don't worry if you can't. And then bend back. And then last one. So again, lunge forwards, tuck your toe, lengthen. And then back. And then just simply drop your bottom onto the floor, arms above the head, and just stretch it out completely. up to a nice slow seated position, and then we're going to go, you probably won't see me because it will chop my head off, I think, I can't remember if it does or not, and we're going to do the roll down. So we're going to roll down to finish, so feet hip distance apart, and then we're going to just soften those knees, and let's roll down, so heavy head and arms, and going down, scooping that tummy up as you go down. Feet, big toes and little toes heavy, they're not going to be up in the air. Deep breathing. And then let's slowly roll back up, pushing the hips forwards, and then stacking that spine up on top, head back, shoulders back, and we're done. So if, like I said at the beginning, if you want obviously to do something that you would like to do, please let me know. And I'm going to send out the details for the next payment because it's June next week. So I will see you in June. Bye.